I definitely have a few type A tendencies.
Yeah.
But when I see myself next to hardcore type A people, I realize very quickly, oh, I'm type B.
Yeah. As a parent, if you don't know how to pivot,
exactly.
If you don't know how to adjust, you're going to be stressed.
I'm half Filipino, half Jamaican. We yell. Yelling is normal.
Normal, yeah.
That up here is normal. To be on time is to be late. To be early is to be on time.
Exactly. I need to work on it.
Spreadsheets are fun. Sorry. It's just...
Welcome to Mama and Her, the podcast.
A space for mature mothers and women navigating the exciting journey of motherhood after 35.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Shannon.
Your new mom friends inviting you into conversation to help you thrive in your mom era.
We celebrate all the incredible layers that make you, you. Before mom, there was and still is so much more to you.
We're here to remind our community that you are still that girl. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Mama and Her, the podcast where motherhood, faith, and community meet.
I am Shannon, and this is Kayla, and we are so happy you made it back here to spend your time with us, because I know it can be tough to carve out time, so you are here with us, and we're so grateful for you.
We always say, whether you are listening in your car right now, or you're chasing after your kids, you're cleaning up the house, we're just so glad that you're taking some time to check in with us and be part of this Mama and Her community. So can we just shout out our community, our growing community at that?
Unbelievable.
It's been humbling and just so amazing to see the growth, the way women and men are checking in. They're like, yep, we're down. We're here. We're here for the ride.
Exactly. And I'm hearing a lot of, we need this. This is needed.
Yeah.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
Before we start, we're going to do our little check-in.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the hard. What do you want to share?
The good has been just seeing this blossom, right?
Yeah.
You know, like we're a few episodes in now. The nerves are just, and even the excitement, the buildup is sort of come and gone now. But so we're here. So I would absolutely say, like, this is our baby, and you know, we've introduced it to the world.
Yeah. And
so here we are. The bad, girl, raising a toddler. Listen, I have been very transparent as far as Miss Kennedy Ann, and 3 is another level.
It is.
Of parenting.
Another level unlocked.
Yes. And I am not one of those parents that will say it's just honky-dory and it's a piece of cake. It's trying. It's hard. I've shed many tears. There've just been moments where I'm like asking myself, God, did you give me enough patience for this chapter of parenthood? Because I've clearly flipped a page.
Yeah.
It was like she turned 3 and something changed, a lot changed. And so picking my battles, taking a deep breath, knowing that I'm not the only one that is going through it, because I know you're there to tell me, like, okay, like, I know it's bad, but don't worry, it does get better.
Yeah.
And even, you know, our community, when I share it on my socials, it makes me at least take a deep sigh of relief knowing that I'm not the only one.
You're not, yes.
And we're not alone in this. But yeah, again, of course, it goes without saying, love her, but yes, we're in the trenches right now. I'm in the trenches of a 3-nager.
Oh yeah.
Oh. So how about you? What's been going on?
The good, I would say, is very similar to you, as this has been on my heart for so long. And then even just talking to you, like, you know, a year or two ago, just about intentions and not really having plans, and then everything just falling into place, and just how fast everything has just kind of blossomed, and it's just been so organic, and as it should be, because I really truly feel it is something that God put into our hearts, and like, you know, it has allowed us to do. So I'm just so grateful for the chance to just be here and to share and to support other parents and mothers through this journey, because it is one, and we're at the beginning, so there's lots to learn on our, you know, from other mothers who are, you know, parenting teenagers or adults or empty nesters. So anyway, it's just so much to be grateful for.
Definitely one thing I feel now that we've started, we have so much to say, and we want to cover so much, and we want to help so many moms out there, but it's like, okay, one episode at a time. Calm yourself. Relax. But we're going to get to it, right? You know, we broke down obviously our why and how this all came to be, talked about our birth journeys and stories, and now today we're going to dive into some other topics. But before we do that, another thing that
I didn't talk about how my bad.
Sorry.
Listen, I need to get this off my chest.
Get it off, girl.
I was thinking about which one am I going to pick, which moment. I know. And people are like, whoa. Listen, like you said, motherhood, like parenting is hard, raising humans. Mothering is hard, especially when you have to control your emotions, because I struggle with that. But no, I'm going to pick probably one of my top hard, challenging moments this past week was my kids, who are like 1 year apart. They never fought, and now they're fighting like from the moment they open their eyes.
WWF.
It's insanity. And there's reels now popping up on my timeline about like the moms just like pouring wine when their kids are like, mama, so-and-so, like telling on each other. And the mom is just drinking the wine and being like, it just happened so fast. But I knew it was going to come, because I was always telling people, oh, my kids get along so well, they don't fight. Nehemiah fully asked me if he could have another sibling.
Because he doesn't want neither.
No. He's over her. He's like, can I have a baby brother and not a baby sister? Because she's not nice. I'm like, oh my gosh. So
but your setup is similar in the sense that, you know, Ray, who's your older brother, you had an older brother and you're the younger sister.
Yeah.
So do you not remember when did you guys constantly beef?
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, I've met Ray. I know, he's a sweetheart.
No, like he is legit an angel. Like
But he's always been one?
He has never, ever tried to start beef with me. And he's so loving and caring. And he's such an introvert. I'm not going to, and I would say he's somewhat like passive, meaning I would just get my way. So no, we apparently, and I've asked, we've never fought.
All right.
Because he was just so supportive.
Well, that's not your kids.
Most people don't have kids like
most
that.
people don't have an older brother
who's like Ray. Ray is just...
Yeah.
He's
Shout out to Ray.
Shout out to Ray. Keeping the peace.
All right. So that was the good, the bad. And one thing we also wanted to start doing and incorporating on our show is sharing our Godwink moment of the week. So for those of you who may not know what a Godwink is, a Godwink... How would I define a Godwink? So for me, I don't believe in coincidence or chance, if you will.
Or luck.
Or luck. Yeah, exactly. I truly believe that it's little moments where God kind of just shows you, like, I see you, I hear you, I'm listening, and I'm tuned in. And I call those moments when you're like, okay, you can't quite put your finger on it. That's a Godwink. So we want to share our Godwinks to hopefully maybe get you thinking like, oh, I've had Godwinks in my life. I just haven't been noticing or I haven't been picking up on it. So, Shan, we'll start with you. What was your Godwink moment over the last past week?
I might actually just pick one that's just really profound. It might not have happened this past week, but like just in general, like something that has just, it really just so, you know, I mean, there's been so many, but I'm going to pick this one. So, at the time I was really missing my mom and I really wanted to just feel her presence. Normally there's certain signs I see, whether it's like a red cardinal will fly by randomly. Like those are little things. I would say those are Godwinks. But this time I actually saw someone who looked like my mom at my gym, and I wasn't going to say anything to her. But it just gave me comfort to see this woman who looked like my mom. Anyways, long story short, I ended up talking to her and just telling her that she looked like my mom. Come to find out, not only she has the same name as my mom, And it was like listen, I wept in this woman's arms.
That is pretty incredible. Like that gave me chills the first time you told me that.
And I was like, because when she said, that is my name, my mom's name is very unique. It just like, and then she hugged me and it felt like my mom, she's the same size as my mom. She's the same. Everything is the same. And her name, like, let's be serious. That's just, and then she hugged me and I just felt God's love rush over me, and it just, it was God just comforting me, and I literally wept in her arms, and she was such a beautiful person, and we like, she's just in my life now forever, you know, and that was a massive God wink I needed.
Oh, that's not a wink, girl. That's a whole,
That's a,
hey, I'm here.
that's a God tackle.
Honestly. But I love that for you.
Thank
because
you.
I know that how much, you know, especially even as of late, you've been missing her.
Yeah.
Right. So the timing, like you said, was impeccable.
Yeah. What about yours?
God wink moment. And this one, like you said, this is a wink. This isn't a tackle. It's a wink.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember feeling at the beginning of the new year, just starting it off, not like, yeah, 2025, this is going to be my year. Like, you know, I was very slow motion, just kind of getting into the groove of it. And also very much so wondering like, okay, you know, what do you have for me, God? Like, what am I, like, what is the goal? Like, what am I, felt a little, not to say lost, but just, I was just being quiet in his presence. And I shared this on my social, where that very day where I was sort of just feeling meh. I got a package from this local designer, and it was a faith-based logo, and I'll tag it in this episode. But on the sweater, it said, "Find your faith." Ooh. And I just felt like in that moment, like of all days, to get that package, to receive that sweater, and for it to just be the reminder. Yeah. And then the note that was left in the package that she sent me, and it just said, "Hey Kayla, we see you, like we love you, keep going. God's got you, so keep going." And I just felt like in that moment, I felt like I read those words and it was God speaking to me.
God really does speak to us through people, things, moments.
You got it.
You have to be willing to see them. I think sometimes you could definitely be distracted. Yeah. But that's so beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like that was our first quarter.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
we
first
did our
quarter
check-in.
done.
We're good. Our rounding out, heading into our second quarter of the show. So we didn't even share what today's topic is about.
Okay. Yeah.
But
okay,
we'll go ahead and do that. So today we are talking about what type of parent you are. What type of mom are you? Now, a lot of us know that whether you're a type A or type B person, but has that translated into the way in which you became a mom? So we want to find out. So I thought that this was a very interesting topic because first off, the question is, what kind of person are you? Are you type A or are you type B, Shan?
I feel like I fluctuate. I don't know. We need to break it down because I actually never thought about this.
Okay.
But I'm sure you could tell me about myself, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit.
I don't really know. I maybe hope to be something I'm not.
And I think that, so even saying that leads me to believe that you're more type B than you are type A. Because I feel like, as I was doing a little bit of research on this and also watching like some videos on people breaking down A versus B.
Okay.
A lot of Bs say that they admire what they see in A's. And I agree with that.
Okay.
And so, but anyway,
we'll break it down. We'll break
it down. And we're also going to talk about our fitness and health journeys as moms and how that has gone over the last several years.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a journey in itself to really learn to love the body and the skin that you are in after you have a child.
Yeah.
And it's more than just, and I don't mean filterized and with the Spanx and and all the things and just to really be okay with where you are. It takes time. And so, we want to break that down. We want to talk about what that's been like and how even in this new year, maybe, some new goals and where we find ourselves in this health journey and this relationship with our own bodies. Yeah. Let's dive into type A, type B.
Okay.
Where do you find yourself? Where do you think you find yourself?
I morphed into B, but I was maybe A with my firstborn and then changed.
Okay.
But let's break it down.
Sure.
And then I'll decide. Okay. So type A parenting. Okay. High achieving, organized, goal oriented, often strict, structured, detail focus, sets high expectations for their children, emphasizes performance. Okay. Extracurriculars, academics. That sounds like me though. May focus on maintaining schedules, routine, and discipline. Okay. Sounds like me still. Can sometimes be perceived as intense or overly controlling. Yeah, and encourages achievement, responsibility, may lead to stress or anxiety in children if the expectations feel overwhelming.
Right. Okay. So that's
type A, yeah.
Type B parenting is more relaxed, flexible, easygoing, focuses on the child's happiness and emotional well-being over rigid structures, allows children more freedom to explore and develop at their own pace, encourages adaptability as well as creativity. And some of the potential effects on kids with type B parenting includes promoting independence and self-expression, and may lead to a lack of structure or inconsistency in routine.
Okay,
I'll start. I have always said that as a person, I think that I am a type lowercase a. So what I mean by that is I definitely have a few type A tendencies.
Yeah.
But when I see myself next to hardcore type A people, I realized very quickly, oh, I'm type B.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm like, yes, I like organization. Yes, I like structure. But then there's people to a whole nother level. And so then I was like, oh. And I have to be honest with myself. There are parts of me that are very type B, where I can be a bit aloof, where I can be all over the place, where I can, not be as tidy at times. And then I find myself then all of a sudden deep cleaning and making up for it, right? Like it's a mixture. So that's why I say I'm a type lowercase a, or maybe a hybrid.
Okay, what about as a mother?
And as a mom. So as a mom, I really feel like it's translated over. Yes, I'm that same type of mom. I remember in the beginning reading all the books, downloading all the apps pertaining to sleep training and scheduling my feeding times and all of that stuff. And I was on it and I was reading books and articles and da-da-da-da-da. And then there's also the part of me that was also like, you know what? It is what it is. It's just, okay, sure, going with the flow. And I found that I was very high strung in the infancy stage. And now that she is a toddler, I find myself as a toddler mom, there is a lot of moments where I'm like, I am going to pick my battle.
Yeah.
It is not worth it. It is not worth my peace.
Yeah.
It is not worth me losing my you know what. And so I'm just gonna say, you know what? Okay, we're gonna roll with the punches. I also think too, because of the type of person I am and the field that I'm in, having worked in media for so long, working a job where I was very much so on the go. It was very fluid. It was very, okay, you have to pivot. That's a quality that I know I possess. So I think that's why I was like, okay, I don't think I'm a super type A.
That's a very good quality to have as a parent. If you don't know how to pivot.
Exactly.
If you don't know how to adjust, you're going to be stressed.
So what about you, Shan?
Personality wise, like I think my husband, I think he's more type A.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. Cause you know him.
Yeah.
So if I compare myself to him, and if I compare my personality to you, you're a lowercase a, I would feel like I'm a little, I don't know. There's nothing
little lower
like
than a lower.
I'm a like a,
then you're a B.
I'm a B.
Right?
I straddle the line, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're right. I think I more so lean towards B, but I do like discipline. I do like structure. I do.
Well, I've pulled up a quiz.
Oh.
So let's take one. So maybe if you're at home, you can play along.
I like quizzes. Okay.
Yes. All right. So this is type A, type B personality quiz.
Okay.
I can be very competitive, such as with games, recognition at work, or even beating my previous records. Strongly agree, somewhat agree, disagree.
Strongly agree.
Okay. When something seems to be going wrong, I feel angry. Strongly agree, somewhat agree, disagree.
Somewhat.
Somewhat? Okay. When everything seems to be... Oh, hold on. I feel depressed. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah, not angry. I feel depressed.
no. No,
So somewhat disagree?
somewhat disagree.
Okay. I don't just enjoy marking tasks as quote unquote done on my to-do list. I thrive on it.
Agree.
Okay. I tend to believe that everything will work out fine, even if I'm not in control.
Oh, yeah, strongly agree.
Strongly agree?
Yeah,
Okay.
let go, let God.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, true. I have a habit of clenching my jaw, grinding my teeth, or furrowing my brow, which this is a perfect time to remind anyone if you're listening, unclench. Stop grinding your teeth.
Like this.
Stop furrowing
No,
your
I
brow.
definitely have lines here because I think but I do clench my jaw in my sleep. So not in the daytime unconsciously, but I do have like tight, like I do like, yeah.
So is that an agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
it is, yeah.
I have an easy time accepting change.
Agree.
I tend to avoid conflict, hoping that they'll resolve on their own. I'm not laughing at this at all because
You don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer.
Strongly agree.
Yeah. I'm very opinionated and love sharing my opinions.
Oh, I mean, I strongly agree.
I mean, you're on a podcast.
Yes, I am.
I ask for what I need.
Ooh, I've gotten better at it, but I would say agree.
Okay. If I'm not 10 minutes early, I consider myself running late.
Strongly disagree.
My college coach had that saying, to be on time is to be late. To be early is to be on time.
Exactly. I need to work on it.
I was born to climb the corporate ladder.
Oh, disagree.
I got my current position because of hard work.
I mean, strongly agree.
Okay. I'm proud of my accomplishments because it's not hard for me to find ways to be self-critical.
Strongly agree.
Okay. I plan to work my way to the top of any organization that I'm a part of.
Nah, agree. No, disagree. I mean, what's this top mean? Like, I'm the boss?
Yeah, corporate ladder.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to be at the bottom, but I feel like I don't know, agree.
Okay. I have several close friends and enjoy spending quality time with them, even if we're just hanging out and doing nothing.
Strongly agree.
Okay. It's about the journey, not the destination.
Strongly agree.
Spreadsheets are fun. Sorry.
Is there
Is that a-
numbers?
is that a strongly
Are there
disagree?
numbers in there? It's a strongly disagree for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
When I socialize with friends, I prefer doing an activity together that make the time feel productive.
Disagree.
Okay. And people tell me that I can be impatient.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. You, my friend,
Drum roll, please.
you are a type A and type B person.
Oh, I know myself.
You are right down the middle.
Okay.
You strike a balance between type A and B. You're not too
Wow.
stressed, but not so relaxed as to be forgetful.
Okay.
You are organized and proactive, yet you know when the workday is over and how to relax.
I love myself. Okay.
There you
but
go.
you took the quiz.
I did. And
So,
I got the same result.
oh, it's me.
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Type A, type B.
Which I feel like, which is why we clicked. I mean,
yeah. I think we balance ourselves out.
do.
Like when we're in the trenches and we have those moments where I call you or I send you that voice note and I'm just like, girl,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah.
not okay right now.
Yeah.
I think we do a good job of being like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Or we allow ourselves to like do it,
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it,
yeah.
get it off your chest.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be all right.
We'll be all right.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. Because it always does. But then it happens again the next day.
And then the next. And the next. No, but you know what? I think this is a good conversation because I feel like there might be moms out there listening we're down the middle.
Okay.
But I know that there's probably moms out there that were very type A as a mom, as a woman, as a person.
Yeah.
And then became a mom. And whether you want to or not, got thrown into a whirlwind of type B because like you said, motherhood, you cannot predict it. You cannot plan with a toddler to the degree in which you want to. And I think for many women that do like structure, that do like organization, that thrive on that, motherhood, especially in the beginning, tends to be way more harder. Like it wasn't supposed to be like this because they're usually on it.
Yeah.
They're high achieving, maybe, you know, first daughters or whatever the case is, like that type A personality. And it makes the shift into motherhood harder because you're so out of your comfort zone.
I agree. Yeah.
So I feel like if that's you, we would love to hear your experience with that, you know, becoming a mom. Or there's also, and Shan, you chime in on this, your personality type as a mom with your first versus the rest of your kids if you're a mom of multiples.
For me, it was night and day because like you said, and you've experienced this with your first, and you know, when you
because I only have one.
Right. And if and when you have a second, you'll see how different you mom or parent. It's crazy. It's almost to the point where you were almost too relaxed in my case, because I was reading all the books. I had the apps. I was stressed about feeding times. It was like I was learning so much, but I wanted to do it the way that all these professionals told me to do it, especially with sleep training. That's a whole other story. But like feeding and all these things, like where the baby should sleep, how the baby should sleep, what I should be doing, how to nurse and all this stuff. And like even milestones of when your child should hit certain things. I had a document that if Nehemiah didn't hit them,
you were
I was like, we were working out. He walked at 8 months because I trained him. I was so wanting to hit these milestones even before, which is super type A.
And that's your that's type A coming up, but that's also like the athlete in you wanting to always be achieve things
and be like, I brag about it. I do. But then Naya comes along and legit everything just went out the window. And it was so nice. It felt just
it felt freeing to you, or did it feel like you were spiraling?
No. I felt personally, it felt freeing, less stress. I had less anxiety. I felt like I was following my intuition and my gut as a mother, as opposed to what people were telling me to do.
And a book.
You mean books? I can give them away if anyone wants them. I have like sleep training. I have all these books that I don't even want to see anymore. And like, if you want to sleep train, I'm not saying you can, and I'm judging you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying go follow your gut. But yeah, with Naya, she didn't walk until she was like 14 months. Was I stressed? I mean, I was a little I was like, oh my gosh, is she? But it's actually quote unquote normal for kids to walk after they're one.
Yeah.
And it
very
felt
normal.
Yeah, very normal. And when you start comparing kids' development is also a problem. But if you listen, I completely went to B, where Paul had to bring me back a little bit because, you know, it can get a little out of control when you don't have structure or right. I wasn't that all the way over, but I definitely was completely different with my second. And maybe because I was back to back too, like I didn't have any time to like forget things, or so I don't know, you know, I don't know if it's different for someone who maybe has a bigger gap. Maybe they parented the exact same way. I don't know. But I heard when you have second, third, fourth, it just keeps getting like less.
Oh, absolutely.
Strict.
I think of a friend of mine who has 3 girls, and when we've gone over to visit, she's so carefree. Let's say fair. I was like, did you eat a gummy? Like, what is going on?
Can I get one?
It's because she's like, girl, those high strung days are long gone.
Yeah.
Once you have 3 and 4, I feel like the moms of multiples, like three and up, can attest to that.
Yeah. For sure.
And for me, when it comes to my parenting style or my mothering style, one thing that I make a point to do is have fun with Kennedy.
Yes.
Now, the reason why I say this and why I think it's important to note is because I am a single parent.
Yeah.
I have found myself many times so strict, like trying to be very rigid, following the rules. We have to keep this routine. We have to do this. And because, I find myself, I have to play a bit of both roles at times. But with that, I don't want her to lose out on the fun mom, on the carefree mom, on the mom that can just enjoy herself, that can let her hair down, that can, be silly. So whenever Kennedy says, "Mommy, you're being silly," I love that. That's like the biggest compliment to me because I hope she remembers me as a silly mom and not just a high-strung mom.
Yeah, overstimulated. Yeah, I hear you. There's reels about that. Like, I hope our children remember us as like the fun, loving mom, not the overstimulated,
you know, trauma inducing mom. I know.
Because my son has said to me when I've been, you know, I have not been patient. He's like, are you stressed? The fact that he picks that up is a gut punch because I'm like, it affects him.
They're these little therapists.
I know.
They hold a mirror up to us.
So it's just these kids, man.
On Threads, I saw a post where it said something along the lines of becoming a mom is self-reflection or like self-care on steroids.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the sense of like you having to do the work, doing the inner work.
Oh, yes.
Often.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I'm realizing I like to scream. And yell. And you know what? And I had to think, why am I like this? You know, I had to think about my childhood, and my mom wasn't the one that used to yell. It was my dad. And I didn't realize now it's in me and it's coming out sometimes. And then I'm like, wow, I need to this has to stop here. And it's hard because it just literally comes out.
Of course it's hard.
Yeah.
And same. I grew up in a household where, listen, I'm half Filipino, half Jamaican. We yell. Yelling is normal. Like,
normal. Yeah.
That up here is normal.
Yeah.
And like you said, there have been times where Kennedy has said, like, Mommy, don't scream.
Don't scream. I know. And then you're like, oh my God, I know.
Okay. But but with that too, because like you said, you have to sort of pause, check yourself, like, where is this coming from? For me, I hope, and this is, of course, thankfully I have, you know, a while to go, but it's never too early. Just setting an atmosphere where she can feel open and comfortable to talk to me.
Exactly.
'Cause that's one thing, you know, being raised by my grandparents, I didn't quite have that. You know, having that generational gap in between there, they loved me. They they gave me a great upbringing. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But was there that, you know, hey, this is an open communication, like, please feel free to share what's on your No. If anything, I had to keep everything like close to the chest, and like I didn't. And you know, what did that result in as a, you know, young adult teenager? I was sneaky. I was super sneaky. And that's one thing I don't want Kennedy to feel like she has to do.
I agree. I was the same. My mom used to kind of do the damage control. But yeah, I definitely, I was able to share with her, thank goodness. But I do see, anyways, it's a whole process of unlearning and just accepting and saying sorry. I say sorry to my kids all the time, and I ask them to forgive me. Mommy, we forgive you. And then sometimes they get in trouble. They do something they're not supposed to do, and they're like, Mommy, I forgive you. I'm like, what? What did I do? Anyways.
Right. There's been moments where I can see myself being a little more type A than type B. And then there's moments where I've been a little more type B in this journey. And I'm sure it's going to be ebb and flow.
Yes.
Right? Like there's going to be moments, maybe like once she becomes a teenager, like, oh no, I have to be stern and like lock in.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's for the betterment of her in the long run. Or there's moments where it's like, okay, you know what? Take a step back. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be okay.
I agree.
So I think that's where like the whole finding ourselves down the middle. But yeah, let us know where you find yourself. Are you a lowercase a maybe? Are you a hard maybe? And there's also the moms out there that are like, I know I'm type B and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think both types of moms
bring something to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And I say, I think if you are one type, you need the opposite
to balance.
in your mom circle, in your village.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Completely. So.
All right. So we're going to switch gears now, heading into our third quarter.
Yeah.
Talking
about our fitness journey and postpartum health, fat loss, weight loss, getting back into it.
The relationship with our body.
And it's funny because like, I won't go as far back to when I became as an athlete and all that stuff. We could talk about that another time. But I think Kayla and I, we both have loved being active and being athletic and working out. So, you know I can speak on my story is that it was really hard for me to see my body change. So for me, after I stopped playing competitive sports, I had a lot of injuries, but I was still working out. I was active, but my injuries kind of like stopped me from being as active as I wanted to be. Knee surgeries, herniated discs, my back, sciatica, whatever. Get married. I felt like I liked how I looked, how strong I was, how much I worked out. And then, the journey of trying to conceive really changed my body. So that's when it started for me, is that as I was trying to conceive, stress, I developed, my endometriosis got really bad. I think it's all related to stress, to be honest. And also, I was on birth control for, I think, 10 years prior to getting married because of my endo, my acne. So I stopped it, and then it just got so bad. So after...
As in birth control had an impact on your weight?
It didn't while I was on it. So when I stopped
got it.
Everything just kind of went out of whack. So, I've had multiple DNCs, like for endo, for fibroids, for polyps. This is all trying to like conceive after I get married, in my 30s. And then, slowly gaining weight. And that was hard for me because my body wasn't used to not being as active, but dealing with the stress of just getting older, my injuries, my whole life changing, being, a teacher, and there's just not a lot of time, but it was hormonally that caused me to gain some weight. And then, diving into the infertility IVF journey. So that's like a whole other story, but in short, injecting hormones and all these different types of things into my body like ballooned, and to the point where people were asking me, like, are you pregnant? Because it kind of like all these hormones, and I literally had to test out certain drugs to see if they worked for me, and they didn't. And then I had to start from scratch. It was horrible. This is over like 3 years, 4 years. And even like just preparing to get an embryo implantation, you have to inject with more hormones. Like, this is just weight gain, and just your body is just not itself. So going into being actually pregnant naturally in my 40s, I was heavier than I've ever been. And it was really hard for me. Just to accept myself as that person. Yeah. And again, people asking, are you pregnant? And I'm like having to explain, no, I'm just bloated. No, I just lost an embryo.
Listen, it's like, so wild to me when people have the audacity to ask that question. Because I'm over here like, and what if you're wrong?
Right.
And what if you're wrong? People have the gall to fix their lips and ask it anyway.
Honestly.
And sometimes I know they mean well, but I'm like, but there's always a chance that you could be wrong. So why not just steer clear? And
just don't do it. Don't ask. Like, it doesn't matter if you're curious. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Number two, do you want to know the awkward answer? So you should make them awkward. Point, I think I did snap on someone. I said, I just lost my third embryo. And they were like, crickets. Yeah, but like at this point, I'm just like, anyways, I used to just go cry in the closet. Like, anyways, so my body was just like not itself. Then, not knowing I was going to conceive naturally, I, just decided to detox my whole body from the hormones through, working with a naturopath, just getting back to working out and moving my body and feeding my body properly, just because, listen, when you're sad, you don't eat well. In my case, you don't. I personally was not. I was sad, depressed, angry, but I had to fix what damage had been done from the hormones, and I had to get my head right. So therapy, praying, because I was at the point where I'm never gonna have kids, right? So I was like, what am I gonna do with this body that God has given me? I gotta, get back. So, anyways, did that, lost some weight, and then I ended up getting pregnant naturally, unexpectedly. And listen, I'll just fast forward. Getting pregnant naturally, shocking, but my pregnancy was so great that I didn't really gain any weight. I was able to work out. I was grateful for my first pregnancy. And then I think we spoke about this, had my son and was able to shed a lot of the weight very fast.
Yeah.
It was COVID. I think personally for me, it was because of breastfeeding, nursing really like ramped up my metabolism.
Interesting.
And I've read like breastfeeding does help you shed baby weight. Plus I was walking all the time, like with him in the stroller, because that's all we could do. We weren't allowed to go anywhere, but like go outside for a walk in the middle of January, February. And that's how I lost a lot of my weight. With him. So I did drop weight with him very fast, but then I ended up getting pregnant right after. And then with her, I wasn't able to move as much. But then I have Naya. I was dropping some weight and starting to feel better around 1 to 2 years after I had her. And then my hormones just decided
Miss Perry showed up.
Miss Perry. And I'm like, what is this? And the amount of fat that accumulated around my midsection within months out of nowhere. Like I wasn't like I was eating more,
and that's a very normal
normal
trait of perimenopause.
Fat around your stomach in the abdominal area that you cannot shake. It was
despite however clean you're eating.
And it just came and it was like nothing was fitting me. And I spiraled and I was like, eating poorly, not working out, just feeling like, what is this? I can't believe this is happening. Yeah. But now I'm getting back on track with hormonal balancing, just trying to move my body and just be fit and love the body that I have, because I brought 2 babies into this world. I am strong. Do I look the way I want to look? No. But I am being kind to myself and I'm doing the little things to just make myself healthy. The weight will come off when it wants to and needs to, but I'm not focusing on weight loss right now. I'm just focusing on health, energy, and just getting these hormones in check, because Perry can last like 10 years and I need to feel better, and I am trying. There's lots of things you can do. So anyways, that's where I'm at. It's a journey. Again, nowhere near to where I used to be as an athlete, and I don't think we should compare anymore.
You shouldn't. No, it shouldn't be to yourself, or to others, nor your former self. No. And I know that that's easier said than done.
I know.
Like, but even saying it, I know I'm guilty of that.
Like looking at pictures, you're just like, wow, But
yeah,
we're doing 2-a-days.
Listen, I look at my old photos. I was like, I don't have to be jealous or want someone else's body. I just have to look back like 8-9 years ago, because I was. I was my own goals.
Yeah, cover of Sports Illustrated. Yeah. Listen, I saw in Mexico, when we were in Mexico, the beach.
Yeah, we were fine.
We look good. We did a photo shoot, remember?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, anyways. But that's where I'm at. It's a journey, and I'm being kind to myself. Okay. And I want to be healthy. I want to live long. I want to be able to, dribble and, cross over my kids, eventually once I heal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at. But what about you? What's your journey been like?
Starting off from like ever since I was a little girl to even like, in my teenage years, like you, was always an athlete, was always very active. But I, from the very beginning, always had some form of body dysmorphia.
Okay.
Because when I look back, I always thought I was so overweight, so heavy. Oh. Now, let me say this. Let me also preface this. I represent the girls. I've never, ever been a size 2, a size 4 in my life. So that's just not me. I've always had meat on my bones, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Right. But I've always felt like there was always more on there. But when I look back at my photos, I was like, Kayla, you were just fine. Like there was nothing.
Yeah, you definitely have an athletic body.
Yeah. You go into, like you said, high school. I'm playing volleyball throughout my college years, right? In my 20s, I was traveling, playing professional volleyball. So yes, staying active was like breathing. It was second nature. I didn't have to think twice. I was eating. Listen, my eating habits have always been, your girl likes to eat.
Yeah, but I feel like when your metabolism is high and you're an athlete, you can eat what you're
really okay.
Want.
I would balance it out. So it's like, hey, eat this medium pizza. That's okay. I'm gonna run it off. I'm gonna hit the weight room. Like it's fine, right? So as you get older, and when some of your habits start to trickle away, i.e., not being in the gym, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
But your eating habits don't trickle and they stay the same.
Yeah.
That's when you run into some problems.
Yeah.
So when I found myself pregnant, I remember I was a newlywed at the time and I was in great shape. I remember, obviously working out and getting into good shape for the wedding and all that stuff, just like many women do.
Yeah.
And when I got pregnant in the beginning, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to try my best to be as healthy as I can. I worked out during most of my pregnancy, but there came a point where, and again, I think this is just how I'm built. At one point, I just blew up. I was not one of those women that just looked like I had a basketball underneath my sweater.
Okay, yeah.
No, I definitely put on weight everywhere. And there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it was everywhere. It wasn't just my stomach. So despite trying my best to eat well during my pregnancy, of course, you know, naturally, like the whole you're eating for two, it's like, okay, girlfriend, be careful with that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I kind of took that and ran with it at times. I'm eating for two. But then once I had Kennedy, and I remember I took a photo when I went to the bathroom for my first pee.
Okay.
Post giving birth. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, yo, I still look pregnant.
Yeah, and that's something people don't post about. People
Very
don't
much
talk
so.
about.
I still look very pregnant.
as you should.
Yeah,
it doesn't just disappear.
Yeah, and so, but to your point of, because as athletes, and I had my daughter later in life, I always thought to myself, when I get pregnant and when I have a kid, I am always gonna, like, it's gonna be nothing for me to get back to, you know, my pre-pregnancy body.
Yes.
And I was very wrong and I was very humbled. And that's been my journey. Because for me, I've always been a size 8, 9.
Same.
That's kind of where I've been. And pregnancy, at my peak, I went up to a size 14. And that's obviously a lot. And again, this is not to... We're just talking, like, this is my experience, right? Like, perhaps someone else might start off at a different way. And for them, size 8 is their biggest, or maybe size 20, whatever the case is, right? So for me, it was, my lowest, I was a size 8. My highest, I went up to a size 14. And I was very frustrated with the journey because I tried and I was doing a lot of things, at least in the best of my ability, but I wasn't seeing the baby weight come off. And so, you know, you go back to this point of, at some point you have to be kind, because you're already in a place where, listen, everything's changing. You know, my boobs are different. My hormones are all out of whack. And then on top of that, there was definitely times I was not being kind to myself. The comments I would say to myself, or that I would think, even if I didn't necessarily say it out loud.
No, for
right?
sure.
And then, you know, I think that's also too where women, hopefully, and it's not the case all the time, but hopefully you're getting that external reassurance from your partner.
Exactly.
Because that's a point when we're just so vulnerable, and it's not to say you're insecure or anything. Girl, you just gave life. Like, you just birthed life.
And
like,
your body went through something very traumatic.
Yeah.
And the hormones, like, after you give birth, once the milk starts coming in, it's a lot for your body.
So for me, weight loss was always a delicate thing after having Kennedy. Then you throw in my profession. Being in TV and working in a career field where you are expected to be snatched, you are expected to be a certain size, you are expected to look the part. And I remember coming back from mat leave, definitely not being the same size that I left, like, or before I got pregnant, and being very self-conscious about that, right? Plus the TV already puts on a few pounds, right? And so working in television for as long as I did, I had my fair share of random emails and trolls and people who were just mean. And so I got the comments like, you got big, you're fat, this and that, all of these things. But I will say I also received so much love and support. And I would say that absolutely outweighed it. But with that being said, I've had thick skin when it comes to that sort of thing. But I also like the fact that I know there are a lot of women out there who are built like me. We have thick thighs that save lives. We have, things clap on our body, not just our hands. Okay, you know, and all of, like, we're voluptuous, and we're not a size 2. And so I actually like that I can represent for women that are in this time, in this build, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
But with that being said, as far as now, like where I'm at, I feel like 2025 is finally the year where I get to rededicate and refocus on my health and my fitness journey, because quite frankly, in 2023 and 2024, with everything that I've gone through with my separation, with becoming like adapting to a whole new life, being a single parent, having all of the responsibilities that fall on in my hands as a single mom, quite frankly, setting time for me, even though I know it's important, I was not doing it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm finally like, you know what? I'm reclaiming this. I deserve this. Kayla deserves this. Not to say that Kayla so that she can be a certain number on the scale or a certain number like pant size, because that's a whole nother thing. Like number, I used to think, what are people going to think if I'm like shopping for a size 14 pair of pants? Girl, who's going to know other than you? No one's going to know the pant size or the shirt size. Like only you do. So when I I eliminated that process and I said, this is for Kayla.
Yeah.
This is for me. I'm doing this for me. And in the result of it, by going on this journey of getting back into the best shape I can, which will result in dropping some weight and just feeling strong again. Because that's another thing too. I don't really necessarily care about like how much fat loss I want to be strong.
We are though.
I am trying to future proof my body, right? Because here we are in our 30s and 40s and I'm trying to still bend and squat and lift. Kennedy's only going to get heavier, right? Your kids are only going to get heavier, stronger, more rambunctious, more energy. And I want to keep up.
Yeah. Well, we have muscle memory, and that's a good thing about being active and athletic.
I agree.
Our muscles are like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So anyone out there, like, and the thing is, anytime I share my fitness journey or my journey with my body, I get so many responses from moms out there. So if you are one of them, and if you also have been in that season where you haven't been able to commit time for you, I feel you 1000%. And just to give yourself grace, because this journey, it's a marathon.
It is,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, you are going to have seasons where maybe you're not in the best shape of your life, and that's okay. But then there's going to come a time where you will be able to set aside, create that space, go for those walks.
Exactly.
You know, hit the gym, reach for those dumbbells, lift weights again, feel strong in your body, make better choices. So it's all of these little things, the little habits that just add up to create that snowball effect. So for anyone out there who is just on this journey, like all of us, like maybe your weight loss journey or your relationship with your body, you know, has fluctuated. Maybe you're in a rut. Maybe you're coming out of it and you're like, you know what? Last year was the year that I you know, had a goal. I went to the gym. I recommitted myself to my fitness journey, and I'm proud of that. Or I lost X amount of pounds. Then good on you.
Yeah. And just know that things happen, injuries. You don't know, life happens, but do what you can and just give yourself grace. But you don't have to go and do everything and be your strongest. You just do little by little. Your body loves to move. Your body likes to be, you know, just challenged in little ways. Something small is better than nothing. You know what I mean? So it's not all or go big or go home anymore.
No. And it's not even about the scale either. It's literally just about, like you said, making those small little decisions that can go a long way.
Exactly.
And ultimately, we want to be the best versions of ourselves, and our kids only reap the benefits of that.
Exactly.
So but yeah, I think that about does it for this episode. We have to wrap things up.
We do. Wow.
I know.
We like to talk.
We do. But we hope you like to listen and engage with us. And again, we just thank you so much for joining us on this journey, this community of Mama and Her, because we're here to remind you that, you know, there are chapters and seasons of this thing called motherhood. Yeah. But no matter what, you are always that girl.
That girl.
So until next time.
Don't you forget.